All right, and we're live. Welcome to SampleServe Masterclass Wednesdays. We like to do case studies. We like to show you tips on our field app and mobile platforms. We like to bring on people from around the environmental industry. And today I have with us, per usual, Russell Schindler. I am Joshua Paul, product manager, marketing director for SampleServe. Russell Schindler is a geologist, professional geologist. He's been in the environmental game for quite some time. We both do this every Wednesday. We like to bring on some people sometimes, and we like to show you around our platform. We like to let you learn from experts that we bring on, talk about the industry in general, and give you some new updates and feature enhancements that we're always adding to the platform. If you have any questions, make sure you throw them in the chat. We'll get to them either when we're talking about it or after this. You can even ask questions after this is over. And this link stays live. You can share this with anybody you like, anybody that you think this would be important to. Give this a share to them. And today we have a special one. Actually, first off, Russell, I'm sorry. Give a little hi to us to the crowd.
My mic working?
Yeah.
How does my hair look?
You're looking fine, man.
Didn't get a chance to do the mirror check, so
that's all right.
Okay.
So, all right. As usual, we talk about on Wednesdays, we talk about our Sample ENV platform, which is an all-in-one hub for environmental data collections, planning, data collection. It's got a lab app feature and enhanced professional report generation. So we actually have a big update coming out soon. We're going to be pushing it probably tonight or tomorrow morning, and it's going to have some major enhancements to our platform, and we're excited to share some of those with you. And the first one we're going to talk about is connecting multiple laboratories to your sampling projects. So Russell, tell us about why we started working on this and what it can do for project managers.
So it's not very often, but a lot of times when you're out sampling at a particular project, you're going to have, certain analytical parameters are maybe unique, kind of specialized. Maybe you're just testing something that the regular laboratory doesn't do right now. Like for instance, let's say PFAS, you're going to do a round of sampling and maybe your lab that you like to go to doesn't do PFAS. So you'll be able to now split your samples. You'll collect the samples like normal, but you can indicate that, you want, these 3 analytical parameters to go to lab A, and then this 1 analytical parameter to go to lab B. You can enter in all the lab information like you normally would for lab A and lab B. And lab A is going to be your primary lab and B a secondary lab. But as you collect the samples, the labels will get printed indicating, this one goes to lab B, this goes to lab, these 3 go to lab A. And then as you complete that project, you'll be able to just go through that chain of custody process, do the chain of custody for lab A, get everything set, finish up the chain, get those off and shipped. And then you'll just press the button for lab B and it'll do that separate chain of custody and send everything to lab B. And then, it just kind of keeps all that chain of custody process very organized so that you can, go out in the field and not have to be confused and try to do this all manually. It'll tell you which bottles go into which cooler and which go to which lab. So we've really organized that. And you can even do more than 3 labs in my entire career, or more than 2 labs. You can do 3 labs. My entire career, I've split samples many times. And it gets a little confusing. It's not super confusing, but it's even simpler now that it's all digital. I've never had it where I had to do 3 labs, but if you do want to do that, you can. So that's really kind of it in a summary. But it just makes your organization of all the samples and the chain of custody process really simple. It probably takes an hour and a half worth of filling out chain of custodies manually, and you get it done in seconds.
So. Yeah. I mean, we like to say we especially save the field tech time filling out chain of custodies. But when there's 2, both of them are automatically generated now.
Yeah.
And using multiple labs on projects isn't that common, but when it is, it does get complicated. Yeah. And we want to make it easy as possible. Like maybe a situation comes where this lab does this set of tests, but this lab over here does this test very cheaply. So, we want to get the best bang for our buck. So we're going to send that one over there.
Yeah. And it's usually about us kind of having a unique parameters. It's really not so much cost typically, but whatever the reason is, doesn't matter. And we can do it for you. very simply. And the reason we actually built this now, because it's a pretty small use case, less than 5%, I think, of projects have to go to multiple labs, probably substantially lower than 5%. But we had a customer that was a big client doing a big project, and they had a lot of their samples, not all of them, but a lot of them, they're doing about 64,000 samples a year, and a good 10-15% were going to be split like that. So we kind of built this out. We had plans to eventually, but this just accelerated those plans.
Right. Yeah. Just another example of, when a client has a need that's going to, really drive us to get those features out faster when we encounter a client that has a very specific need.
Yep. And probably the most important part on all that, it's free. It's free to use. So
yeah, we forget to mention that a lot, don't we, Russell?
Yeah. So
all this stuff that we're covering right now is absolutely free to use.
Yeah.
You can always just go in.
Not a free trial. Not a free trial. It's free forever. So
right.
Yep.
So another thing that same client actually asked for was the ability to print out a report from a form that they completed in the field. They wanted to leave that form where they were at the location that they were with the facility that they were doing sampling at. So we created this functionality that allows you to create a customized report, an event level form that you can fill out. You can have people sign it. You can add anything on there, and then you can generate that form and print it. If you have a mobile field printer that prints out a regular, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, you can print that right in the field. So Russell, tell us about how what scenarios and what kind of conditions would like a field tech need to do this?
So it's same type of thing. We had a client who wanted to be able to print a kind of a receipt for samples collected, but they had to leave that paper copy with the customer as they left the site. And so we created this ability to gather the data from that sampling event, create this report on the mobile device, and then it'll generate a PDF. And then you can just connect to your, portable mobile printer via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. A lot of printers nowadays have their own little mini Wi-Fi built into them, so you can connect via Wi-Fi and print that print that sheet of paper right there. But the interesting part is once we kind of built this thing out, we've got now numerous users that are using customers that have special needs for something very similar. Like, for instance, there's some calculations they want to do on a particular test that they do, and they want to be able to essentially submit the laboratory or in the field lab results to the customer. They want to generate that PDF and either email it off as a PDF, a completed report from that mobile device, or print it out again and leave it with the customer. So either way works. You can just hit the print button and send it to the printer, or generate the PDF and then email it to your client. So either way, but it's totally customizable. You're going to create the forms and indicate which data you want on that report. There may be some customization depending on the level of sophistication you're looking for. But you're going to be able to do that right from the mobile app and leave it to the, leave a hard paper copy with the customer.
Yeah, that's going to save a lot of time because, before if you would want to, get access any of the form data, you'd kind of have to go back onto the project management tool, download that report, and then print it from there. But now you can access everything right from the mobile app, which makes it, 10 times easier for somebody that's in the field that needs access to the documentation right then and there.
This would work independent of whether you're connected to the cloud. So it's all the information on the device, assembles the report, and then you're able to print it. And it will save it again and, push it back to the cloud so you still have the information once you're connected. So pretty neat little function. And the uses of it are still being discovered, right? Lots of people are, once we tell them about this, they're like, oh, this would be great for this or that. So
yeah. And one thing we always run into is when we come out with new, features, other current clients, they realize that they had a need for something that they didn't know until they had the ability to do it.
It sparks some ideas on how you could use this functionality for different types of uses.
Right.
Yeah.
So on to the next one, we're going to go. So we went from the project management tool, setting up multiple laboratories, using that in the field, generating chain of custodies for 2 different labs. Then we went over to the field app where you can, print documents in the field. Now we're going to switch it back over to the report generation tool,
Yep.
which is built into the project management tool. So you can easily, once you upload lab data, you can point and click, create, multiple types of graphic reports. And we're going to be adding soon a system where you can generate isochemical contour maps that will all align to one page, so you can easily see all of your different substances easily mapped out compared to each other on one page. And this was a great idea actually brought up by one of our clients that they asked for, because they were doing it kind of manually, setting them next to each other and creating an image like that. But why not just make it as a actual option in the platform? So that's what we're going to be working on. Russell, tell us about like the story and like, what do you see this turning into?
So we've always, I don't want to say always, we've had the ability to generate isochemical contours to your specific chemical of concern. We've had that functionality for a long time. I mean, 7-8 years. But what we're doing now, and this will be rolling out here, it's not active yet, but you'll in essence pick the chemicals that you're interested in doing individual isochemical contours on, kind of establish the radius. There's always data gaps. You're going to have to say, okay, we know it's 0 up gradient, so we're just going to place some zeros up gradient. Maybe you don't have full sampling data there, but there's always some artistic interpretation of your data. You'll do that type of stuff, and then you pick each chemical that you want to isochemical contour on, each individual image, and then it'll generate them all at the same time so that they all kind of match perfectly in terms of the dates and the, where you've put your 0 markers and how you wanted the contours, how many you wanted. Because, if you want to, high density on your contour interval, you'll just say, I want 15 contours. Sometimes you only want 2 or 3 contours, depending on what you're trying to illustrate. And so those types of things will then map out and place those isochemical contours for each individual chemical kind of all simultaneously, and then arrange them on a sheet of paper so that they fit nice and neat. So if you do 4, it'll be 4 to a page. If you want 6 chemicals or 8, I think 6 is going to be the max on a page, but then we'll just bleed over into another page. So if you'd have more than 6. So it's just going to automate that kind of data assembly into graphics so that you can do this type of interpretation. If you're trying to, like in this example, show the difference between a diesel spill and a gasoline spill, you'll be able to do that stuff very quickly. So
yeah, and you can do all of it right now. It's just a little bit more manual. So it's not necessarily a new feature. It's going to be a quality of life enhancement.
Yeah. Right now, it's all that capability is done. It's just you have to do them one at a time and generate the image, and then assemble them however you want to. This is going to make it so you can kind of do them all simultaneously.
Right. And then another quality of life feature, and I'd say huge improvement to our tables, is we're going to be adding a lot of customization to our tables, namely being able to allow the user to switch the axis, so that the dates go on the side, so that you have the wells across the top, so that you can really display your data any way you'd like to, so you're not locked into a certain type of data table. So Russell, what advantages do you think this will have for project managers and data scientists?
So sometimes, data, if you've got lots and lots of data, it may look better on a landscape mode, because you've got fewer items along the vertical axis and a lot more along the horizontal, or maybe it's the other way around. And so, it just can visually look better in certain orientations and exchanging the X and Y axis data. And so we're going to leave that up to you to kind of pick the way you want to show it and the dates and whatever parameters you want. That's always been there. But we've kind of been locked into just one vertical axis, the certain data on the vertical and certain data on the horizontal. Historically, we've been locked into that. But now we're going to allow the user to kind of switch those out. And it just makes for better visualization of data based on your exact circumstance. So, and we're going to leave that up to you. And once you get that set, you're going to be able to save that as like a favorite function. And from that point on, it's real simple to generate those reports. It'll remember your, personalized settings. And so you just go in there and print out your reports very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you run into situations where, like, what if you want to have 20 dates, on a table like this, then you're going to probably want to switch your axis over and have the dates go on the bottom just to make it look a little prettier. And we want to be able to give people the ability to customize their data output in any way possible, So I think we're going to cover it up there with our new features and everything. I do like to mention, we do, as SampleServe as a software provider, we don't necessarily like to consider ourselves just a software provider, but more of a partner in the industry. When you sign up with SampleServe, we don't just, give you a login and then, access to the application. We like to, we'll set up meetings with you. We like to do, team meets where we'll, maybe every 2 weeks. And this happens with a lot of our major clients where we'll go over, what's working, what don't you like, what do you like, and what do you want to see happen in the future. And a lot of the new features that you see coming out, bi-weekly, weekly, comes from, these interviews with people that are, real consultants, real clients in the field looking for solutions that don't exist yet. And that's what we're trying to do. So you can always become a partner by going to SampleServe.com, clicking on the partner button at the top there and filling out, and we'll get a hold of you, and we can start talking about how we can improve your data capabilities, your reporting capabilities. So I think we're going to end it off there. Russell, you got anything to add?
No, not right now.
Okay. Look out for next week's. We're going to be having some new functions rolling out here real soon as well. We got a lot of stuff in the pipeline about improving functionality that we're going to be really excited to get out. And as well, we got some pretty important guests coming up in the future as well. So thank you for your time. Make sure you give us a share, give it a like, and give it a comment if you feel like this is something that is going to help you improve your sampling and reporting capabilities. So thank you guys. Josh and Russell out.
See you.